One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Out of your vulnerabilities will become your strength. Where does a thought go when it's forgotten? A woman should soften but not weaken a man. In the depths of my heart I can't help being convinced that my dear fellow men, with a few exceptions, are worthless. Everywhere I go I find a poet has been there before me. Immorality, no less than morality, has at all times found support in religion. Whoever loves becomes humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. Religion is an illusion and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. The virtuous man contents himself with dreaming that which the wicked man does in actual life. He does not believe that does not live according to his belief. The behavior of a human being in sexual matters is often a prototype for the whole of his other modes of reaction in life. Beauty has no obvious use, nor is there any clear cultural necessity for it. Yet civilization could not do without it. The intention that man should be happy is not in the plan of creation. My love is something valuable to me which I ought not to throw away without reflection. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Loneliness and darkness have just robbed me of my valuables. Dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. Men are strong so long as they represent a strong idea, they become powerless when they oppose it. Public self is a conditioned construct of the inner psychological self. I had thought about cocaine in a kind of daydream. You wanted to kill your father in order to be your father yourself. Now you are your father, but a dead father. Love in the form of longing and deprivation lowers the self-regard. How bold one gets when one is sure of being loved. Smoking is indispensable if one has nothing to kiss. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. Where such men love they have no desire, and where they desire they cannot love. I never want to belong to any club that would have someone like me as a member. He who knows how to wait need make no concessions. When one does not have what one wants, one must want what one has. I do not in the least underestimate bisexuality, I expect it to provide all further enlightenment. All neurotics, and many others besides, take exception to the fact that inter urines et feces nascimer. The distortion of a text resembles a murder, the difficulty is not in perpetrating the deed, but in getting rid of its traces. In matters of sexuality we are at present, every one of us, ill or well, nothing but hypocrites. The weakness of my position does not imply a strengthening of yours. For there is a way back from imagination to reality, and that is art. Nothing that is mentally our own can ever be lost. Human life should not be considered as the proper material for wild experiments. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. From error to error, one discovers the entire truth. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs high conduct in the world. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. The virtuous man contents himself with dreaming that which the wicked man does in actual life. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. The mind is like an iceberg, it floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. Friendship is an art of keeping distance while love is an art of intimacy. In the small matters trust the mind, in the large ones the heart. People do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility and most people are frightened of responsibility. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. Love and work, work and love, that's all there is. Public self is a conditioned construct of the inner psychological self.